Okay, we're here today to talk with Oliver about his life as a composer's assistant. So, Ollie, let's start. Your journey to becoming a composer's assistant, like what got you interested in writing to picture or just music in general? So if you want to tell us.
So I started playing the piano when I was 10. I went to study jazz and blues, and that's kind of my passion, or that's my roots, I guess, in playing the piano. And then moved to England when I was about 20 years old, and there I studied kind of songwriting and continued studying piano. And I was doing loads of session work, and I played with bands, and I was touring a bit, and it was just completely by chance where a friend asked me whether he can use one of my piano pieces. I would write little piano pieces here and there and record them. Whether he could use one of those to his final kind of film he did for the I can't remember what it was, like bachelor's degree in film. And then he came back to me and said, like, it doesn't quite work, and also I really like this kind of orchestral music and a cello. Can you do something with that? And I was like, no, I don't really play the cello. I don't know, but yeah, let me have a think. And that was really the first time when I opened Logic, and I used one of these like shitty Logic samples to write a bit of cello, and then I realized I really like kind of doing that work, music production and writing to picture and editing kind of pieces around and being in charge of my own decisions and music rather than kind of doing what a frontman or so tells me to do in a band. And that got me really interested. And I kind of asked around whether I could find other projects to kind of practice my skills in Logic and Pro Tools. And then I found that Berklee College of Music had opened a university in Valencia, Spain, and the winter was specifically bad in England, and that was like 5 years ago, maybe now, 4 years, and I was living in Brighton, and it was humid, cold and rainy and stormy. I was like, I need to get out of here, I need to go and enjoy some sunshine. And as I discovered this university was in Valencia, I was like, okay, I'm gonna apply and see whether I can learn more about film music and orchestras, etc. And I got in, and I went there for 1 year, made some really interesting connections and learned a lot about orchestra. And I studied a lot and hard, and it kind of got me more interested. And then I came back to London to kind of join my band again.
So is that what brought you back to London, was your band?
Yeah, my band, and my girlfriend also had like a fantastic job, and I didn't really have any plans for after Berklee. I was going to go traveling, but then she landed this job, and I kind of followed her a bit, and my band and friends were here in England. So I thought I was going to try, coming back and build up some sort of music career here in London.
Great. So I guess that led you to kind of, how did you get to being a composer's assistant from then, really?
Well, it was completely by chance, because I was in love with writing to picture and music, but maybe more so just music in general, just writing music, producing, songwriting, composing. And I did some like shitty jobs of Gumtree. One time I remember I arranged like a song for a Chinese wedding that was like a slap bass and an electric cello and kind of like bad MIDI piano, and they wanted me to arrange that and go and record this electric cello and stuff, and the studio was really bad, and but it paid a little bit, and I did loads of these jobs that I was teaching a little bit just to get by. But
I think that's what you have to do, isn't it?
You have to get by. Exactly. Because you have to, like, I believe as a musician or composer, you have to just be like versatile and kind of be ready for any kind of opportunity. And then I went on to teach a little bit at Leach College of Music, because I kind of ran out of money, so I needed to get a bit more of a serious job. And then just completely by chance, again, one day a friend of mine from Berklee College of Music phoned me up and said, like, hey Ollie, I've got these tickets to go to the Library Music Awards in, I can't remember where it was, somewhere in central London. Do you want to go? And I'm like, yeah, why not? It's always good to just go and maybe have a meeting or meet some other people that work in the same industry. And at lunchtime, she kind of sends me a text and saying like, "Hey Ollie, how is it?" And I'm like, "What do you mean, how is it?" She's like, "Yes, it's an all-day thing. It's got like workshops and everything."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my God, I've completely missed it. I thought it was an evening thing." So I jumped on a bus, went into central London, and as I come into the kind of stage where the stage is and stuff, just Jake Jackson from Air Studios just had a talk and a workshop about mixing.
Yeah.
And then after that, Christian Henson came on, and I knew him from Spitfire, because with Berkeley we came to Spitfire for our master when we did the graduation, or before the graduation when we did the work. The final work, we had to go to Air Studios to record a piece, and then we visited some studios. So we visited Spitfire, and that's where I knew how I knew who he was. And as he stopped, there was a break, and I kind of came down the stairs, and I kind of bumped into him, and I was like, "Hey Christian, you probably don't know me. We're like 30 people in your tiny studio."
Yeah.
Kind of you were giving us a talk about the industry and about Spitfire. And he was like, "Oh yeah, you bunch, you all looked really tired, and you went on a bender the night before, you know." And I was like, well, I was the one who really loved your Wurlitzer, playing on your Wurlitzer,
Yeah.
you know. I was like, okay. Maybe he pretended that he knew me. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was kind of my last chance, because, you know, my saved money ran out and everything,
Yeah.
and I was just like, this is all or nothing, you know.
Yeah.
And so I kind of got to chat to him about work in London and that it's really hard, and he was like, "Oh, get used to it. You will feel like that for the next 5 years, you know."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, great. Thanks for the advice."
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
"Do you have any work for me?" Just, you know, flat out. And he paused and he was like, "Yes, yeah. Send me an email." And then he walked off. I was like, "Oh my God, this is fantastic," you know. Because before that, when I came to London, actually I didn't mention that I came to knock on the door here.
Oh,
in
wow,
Spitfire,
okay.
but the old receptionist didn't let me in. So she was like, no, Christian is busy recording, you know.
Yeah.
I was going to top up my Oyster to go back home, and that was when my bank account was on zero, so I had to walk back home. And I sent the email to Christian, and he replied literally the next morning and said like, "Yeah, you can come in. Can you send me a piece of music, what your composing style, etc." And I'm looking for an assistant really desperately. We have a lot of work on and have a lot of projects. When can you come in?
And that was it?
I came in late, of course. I came late.
Naturally.
As in every important meeting, people
Yeah.
turn up late. And I met Paul as well.
Great.
And then, we got on well. Met Stanley. He was in the meeting, who was an assistant before me. Well, there was Seb after Stanley, but Stanley used to be an assistant for Christian. And then he said, "When can you start?" And I was like, "Now, I need to start now," you know.
Yeah.
And then he gave me the job, and kind of this freelance agreements of being his assistant, but having to come in 3 days a week.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
So, I mean, after following that, what were you doing? So, let's summarize it. You know, what were you doing for Christian, for Spitfire example? What kind of tasks what were you getting up to, basically?
Well, at that time, I wasn't really doing anything for Spitfire yet, because it was still fairly small. And so I was working for Christian, and kind of the main tasks included just looking him over the shoulder and learning his workflow and his methods. And so I was like filing stuff for him, like naming properly, organizing his cues.
Yeah.
It's like cleaning up some MIDI after he would go home, or he would go downstairs and work for Spitfire, and then I would jump on the rig and continue the work. So I would, just like organizing his MIDI arrangements, cleaning it up, like learning how to program things properly. Sometimes I'd be lucky and he'd say like, "Mate, I've got to go downstairs. Can you do, the cue is a bit slow. Can you do something, a percussion arrangement or so, you know?" And these would be like the big moments where you get to like write a little bit, tiny bit of music or something like that.
So I guess you're just making life easier for Christian, aren't you?
Yeah.
So you go in, help him, get out.
I think that's the main thing as an assistant. You just want to be there for everything, really. So I think you got to be really attentive and just spot problems and anticipate situations, you know, like technical stuff. Something doesn't work, just be there and offer your help and fix the problems. And then a major thing that you do as an assistant is making stems. So stems is when you turn the MIDI into audio and you summarize the tracks. So then the mixing engineer, or then you, for the recording session, you would record into Pro Tools.
Yeah.
And the mixing engineer can lend all the cues. It's also, the naming is important, and all the cues can be organized in the same way. And what else? Stems. Sometimes you prepare stuff for the orchestrator as well, like scores. It might be that you have to import MIDI information into Sibelius or Finale for then the orchestrator to make the parts and the arrangements.
So I guess really it's everything you can think of in the studio you have to do.
Yeah, and I was actually really lucky because it was almost another year of kind of university, but really hands-on. And Christian let me sit in on from the spotting session, until the recording, everything, so I could see the whole process and learn a lot therefore as well. And I was helping him recording, he would say, I'm recording a quartet tomorrow, can you help me set up, or something like that. So you would have to have a bit of, that's another thing, like a lot of different skills, even a bit of like sound engineering skills as well, I think.
I mean, if you can summarize kind of the few key skills to have as an assistant, what would you say they would be?
Definitely music production, so you need to be good in, I would say here in England, that's say Logic and Pro Tools. If you want an assistant composer who uses Digital Performer, obviously be like a ninja in those digital audio workstations. So obviously, I mean, being musical, having a good musical ear, that's kind of the roots.
Yeah.
And then just having really good, I think, social and interpersonal skills as well, like just being easy to work with.
Yeah, that's really important, I think. Yeah, and I guess building up trust really with who you're working with, so they trust you. To just nail everything, really. Yeah,
exactly, and be attentive, and there's a lot of like information that can't be leaked, so people need to be able to trust you, the composer needs to be able to trust you, and just really hard working. You just need to be there at all times, the composer might call you at 6 a.m. or so and say like, where is this, where is that, I can't find, where have you put this, and you just got to be ready. Or late that night, someone needs a cue, or someone, maybe there's a new cut arriving and you need to put it into Pro Tools and make it ready for the composer the next day to start composing.
Great. So you touched upon sort of the social aspect of the job. So I think that's a really good place to go to next. Socially, kind of as a composer, you've really got to get yourself out there. So, I mean, what would you went to the Music Library Awards. So there's loads of stuff, especially going on in London. So what would you say, what you have done?
I say that's almost a key skill to have, because I don't know, I feel like it's a people's business, so it's kind of who you know, and a friend knows a friend, or I think the most difficult thing is to be an assistant for the first time. So what you do, but you can just you try sending emails to loads of people, to composers you want to work with. Maybe try sending emails to editors, to directors. Go to places like the Library Music Award if you can. Go to
there's loads
composer meetings, etc. There's loads of stuff going on in London, and I used to do that before when I came to London as well. And for me, nothing has come out of that specifically, but it could have been. It's just the people you meet. And even once you get the first job as a composer, just be nice to work with, and then you will be recommended again. And the industry is quite small, so just do good work and be,
I think that's quite a big
nice.
thing to say. The industry is quite small, really. And I think for someone on the outside, it could be quite terrifying and it seems so massive, but it really isn't. I think people's skills are so important,
so essential. Absolutely, I agree.
So I guess moving on from that, if you were looking for an assistant right now, what are you looking for?
Definitely someone trustworthy, again really hardworking, but then also I think someone fun to have around, because at least when I was working for Christian, I spent a lot of time in the studio with him, like helping out with little things. And I think, well, from my point of view anyway, I feel like we always had a good time. And so you want to be with someone in a studio that is, I don't know, yeah, you can have a little chat as well, maybe after work, or even just so the environment and the ambience is nice. Someone you get on, but then also someone who is like forward thinking and like always problem solving. You know, what you don't want to do as an assistant is, you know, if you do the stems late at night and the composer has gone home, maybe to his family or whatever, you don't want to call him up and say like, the hard drive is full, where do you have new hard drives? Or saying like, your rig crashed, what do I do? It's like, no, you need to fix it yourself, you know, like kind of independent already as well, but then not so independent that you feel, I'm just going to compose the next cue for him. You know? Do you know what I mean? So like a good balance, that's kind of what I would be looking for.
Great. So have you got any tips for sort of graduates or aspiring composers, you know, for their career composing? What would you
I think just keep making music and don't get too hung up on just one dream, you know. I mean, it's every film composer's dream, I think, to score a big Hollywood movie, but it's just
be versatile, basically.
Be versatile. Take it as it comes. You know, you will get where you need to be, you know, soon enough, and just be relaxed about it. Be ambitious, but just keep having fun and making music, and kind of maybe spot opportunities and talk to people and let people know what you're after. You know, if you want to score some shorts film, let everyone know. You know, and then people might start recommending you or start helping you. If you want to be an assistant composer, let everyone know that you're looking for that kind of job. If no one knows, then no one can help you or recommend you.
Okay, that's great. Well, thanks, Ollie.
Thank you.
We're going to put all of this on our journal page, and also if you've got any questions for Ollie, please fire them to us via our social channels, and I will ask them, and Ollie will get back to you, and hopefully we'll do some more videos. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you.